Angel. It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by for a random thought from the Head Hutt. That's this structure here that you see the wall of behind me. It's a mega sculpture which I built myself. I've got videos about it if you care to check those out. Subscribe to my channel and look for that playlist. This random thought is about integrity and what that means to me. And to me, integrity is partly like the cohesiveness, when you talk about the integrity of your ship, for example, that's like, doesn't have any holes in it, right? The integrity of your theory, it holds water, also having no holes, I think is the analogy there. Although different from a ship in that, anyway. Integrity to me means being one cohesive unit. When we talk about our own personal integrity, it means being self-aware enough to adapt and bring into alignment our own behavior, our own actions, our own words when they start to stray from that core ideal of who we are and who we want to be and how we fundamentally are, like our truest, highest self. I think we frequently, sometimes more, in some lives perhaps more frequently than others, get out of alignment with that true core self. I do think that the more we don't check that, the more we don't bring ourselves back into alignment or integrity with our highest self promptly, the more we can build momentum to where it gets, like, you could say, harder and harder to get back to your true self, but really it's just you're starting to build that path of least resistance toward a lack of integrity by way of not being honest with ourselves and others, not acting in accordance with the self that we tell ourselves and others that we want to act within. I know that sounded pretty wordy. I don't know. If you get my gist, you could probably say it better. Put that in the comments for us. Would you? Help us out. Help a girl out. No, I'll give it another stab. Meanwhile, gosh, that sounded... Anyway, that's probably a great example of the kind of thing I'm talking about that can frequently be unconscious, so the kind of person I want to be is nonviolent, is peaceful, is productive, and yet when I use a phrase like take another stab at it, that has an element of violence in it that is not in complete alignment and accordance with who I'm saying and who I'm thinking I want to be, right? And hey, good catch, me. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. But that's an example of how we can catch ourselves when we are not too far out of alignment, or as we build, I have been building positive momentum for myself in the direction that I want to be aiming toward. And so with that momentum, it gets easier and easier to start to recognize even what might seem like small, insignificant things, like what phrasing or words we use, which are actually vibrationally pretty important. I think those are the little things that add up to big things that add up to our whole life, right? So, I'm glad that I caught that particular phrasing. It's actually a way of wording and phrasing that used to be a lot more prevalent in my past, and that I've been doing a better and better job of catching along the way and correcting. So, yeah, I could say take another run at it, or just have another go at it, or try again, right? Is rather than using that kind of violent terminology. And even though I'm pretty sure we all know that, I didn't mean that literally, it's those subtle differences that really do add up to big differences. So back to my original idea, my original thought about integrity, and the wholeness of one thing. I like to think that that sort of behavior of self reflection and self-correction is in integrity with my overarching self, who I've kind of always been and hope to be. This heater's starting to make me itchy now. And those who've known me a long time would probably, I think, not find that surprising. And for myself, having known myself most of my life now, I don't find that surprising. But other times in my life, there have been realizations I've had, or accusations, as I would call them, from other people, where I either still have not realized, or maybe I just realize I see things differently. I think the word accusation is interesting because sometimes we feel accused when someone else just sees things differently or takes our words differently. And if we know that we're acting from a place of integrity, where we're really doing our best from where we are with what we have to be ourselves, our best selves, then it's easier to not be offended by someone else's accusation, even if it feels, out of alignment, feels inaccurate. Either it is inaccurate and it doesn't matter, or there is some accuracy to it, and either we can, just not see it yet, or maybe we can start to appreciate, even if we see things differently, there's often little threads or grains of truth in other people's perception of us that, if we are willing to pay attention to, can help us on our own personal growth journeys, our own personal transformation journeys, our own journeys of building lives that we love, which is my main mission here, to build a life that I love, live a life that I love, and encourage you to live a life that you love. So, yeah, I hope you're doing that today. As always, I hope you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, check out the description for ways you can support me and connect with me. And as always, I wish you lightheartedness, love, peaceful conflict resolution. Don't forget to play every day and drive forward.